Yo, what's going on, everybody? Nuclear war? That's some serious stuff, right? If a nuclear war starts between Russia and America, or a European alliance with those two countries, which African countries can be affected? That big question. But even if Africa isn't launching missiles, we're not immune to the fallout. We live in a globalized world. What happens in one corner of the planet sends shockwaves everywhere. We're talking economic chaos, environmental disasters, and even radiation reaching our shores. Today, we're diving deep into how a conflict thousands of miles away could impact Africa. Stay with me, because this is one situation where burying your head in the sand is not an option.
Now, you might think, radiation? Isn't that a problem for those countries directly involved? And yeah, they'd get the worst of it. But radiation doesn't respect borders. Think of it like being downwind from a really bad barbecue. That smoky smell travels. Radiation from nuclear explosions can travel too, carried by wind patterns across vast distances. For countries closer to Europe, like those in North Africa, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, even down to Egypt, they might be holding their breath a little longer. Radiation can contaminate water, food, you name it. Long-term exposure? That's the real worry.
All right, let's talk money, or rather, the lack of it. When the big dogs of the world start throwing nuclear bombs around, the global economy goes into full-on panic mode. Suddenly, nobody's trading, shipping lanes are shut down, and the price of everything goes through the roof. Developing economies, including many in Africa, get hit hardest. Major players like South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, their economies are intertwined with the global market. A nuclear war is a lose-lose situation for everyone, but for Africa, it could be devastating.
Now let's get real about something. A lot of African countries rely on imported food. Wheat from Russia, corn from the US, you name it. But in the aftermath of a nuclear war, that chain, it's broken. Supply lines are cut off, crops are contaminated, and grocery store shelves start looking pretty bare. This isn't just an inconvenience. This is a life or death situation. Countries like Somalia, Sudan, Ethiopia, already grappling with food insecurity, could face widespread famine. If the world doesn't find a way to share resources and support each other, the consequences could be truly horrific.
Okay, so we've talked about radiation, economic collapse, and food shortages. Fun times, right? But wait, there's more. Let's talk about energy. A lot of African countries rely heavily on imported fuel oil, gas, you name it. When the world goes nuclear, those imports dry up faster than a waterhole in the Sahara. It's not just about cars running out of petrol. We're talking about hospitals without power, businesses shutting down, entire cities plunged into darkness. Renewable energy is the future, but building that infrastructure takes time and investment, and many African nations are already stretched thin.
All right, imagine this. You wake up one morning and your world is literally on fire thanks to nuclear war. What do? You run. For a lot of people in Europe, if they survive the initial blasts, that safe haven might just be North Africa. A massive influx of refugees puts a huge strain on resources. Food, water, shelter. Suddenly, there's not enough to go around. In the wake of a nuclear war, the sheer scale of displacement could be overwhelming, leading to humanitarian crises. Now let's talk politics, because even in a nuclear apocalypse, that doesn't go away. Africa has ties to both sides of this potential conflict. Some countries have strong relationships with the West, others lean more towards Russia. But nuclear war forces you to pick a side. No matter which way you lean, you're going to make enemies. Old alliances are tested like never before. We could see increased pressure, sanctions, even political destabilization as countries try to navigate this new world order.
So there you have it. A nuclear war, even one fought thousands of miles away, would have a ripple effect felt deeply across Africa. Radiation, economic collapse, food shortages, energy crises, mass displacement, political instability. It's a laundry list of worst-case scenarios. But understanding the potential consequences is the first step to mitigating them. By raising awareness, we can start to prepare ourselves and our communities for the unthinkable. Stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay hopeful. The human spirit, especially the African spirit, has a way of finding light and resilience. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.